Welcome, everybody. This week's host, Selena of How Oldie Socially Inspired, and Anna of No Mad About host Leslie and Britni of the Milspouse Coffeehouse Podcast. These phenomenal ladies are dynamic and fun and most excellent in what they do. Come learn about podcasts and why yours might be the next best thing. So, hey.
Hi, Selena. It's a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's just get into it because I want to make sure I have enough time with Leslie and Britni today.
Yes.
Anna, you know what the world wants to know.
How did Google My Business go for me, right?
Yeah. How did Google My Business go with?
So the day of the show, I went on, I scheduled my Google My Business thing, and they sent me out my postcard, and I have as yet to receive it. So I'm still waiting. They said 5 to 7 business days. So today is like business day 6. So they have one more day, and then Google lied to me. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, everybody, you got that update. So Stacy, hopefully she made you proud. She actually did start it. She can't do much until she gets that verification card. So
well, actually, they let me go ahead and revise all of my information on Google My Business. It just doesn't go live until I'm the confirmed business owner. So you can get started, order your little postcard with your confirmation code on it or whatever you need to do, but you can update everything on your account and get it ready to literally hit the go button.
I know. So good for sending traffic to your website, right? And all
so good. Yeah, Stacey's information yesterday was so good. I loved it.
Yeah. Last week, but it's okay. Not yesterday, but yet last week.
Yes. Last week. It felt like yesterday.
Give me a break. Okay. I'm going to bring up our bio of our amazing ladies here.
Yeah. We're super excited to have these two on. It's our season 3, episode 4 with Britni and Leslie. So let me just tell you a little bit about them, and then we're going to bring them on the show because we have some limited time with them. But let's see. Okay, Britni is originally from Atlanta and graduated from Auburn University in 2004 with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration. She's been working remotely since 2008. She's a Navy spouse since 2007. She's a work-from-home professional, podcast host, cheerleader, mom, Navy spouse, lover of ghost stories, and wannabe yogi, in no particular order. She is a self-proclaimed expert Googler. I love that. And a seasoned networker. All right. And then Leslie, the other half of this duo, she's pretty cool. It actually says that in her bio. She is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Leslie is a mom of a sweet and sassy 3-year-old and has been married to her Marine for 8 years. She has a degree in early childhood development and was a preschool teacher for many years. God bless you for that. Seriously, that is a hard job. And then she realized moving around due to change of duty stations, which military life brings us, and becoming a mom, that was not the job that was going to cut it for her. So now Leslie and Britni together are on a mission to help military spouses of all branches, age, and stages of military life. They share the same passion. They knew they could provide some humor and lightheartedness in a sometimes crazy world of military life. Thus, Milspouse Coffeehouse was created for your entertainment. So yay, Milspouse Coffeehouse. Let's bring these ladies on.
Yeah.
Well, hello there.
Hi, Britni.
Hello, Britni and Leslie. Leslie, I think we have you muted. So unmute yourself so we can hear your voice.
There we go.
Yay!
What an introduction. Thank you so much. I got my hair down because of the cartoon. I have my hair down. I have to do this.
Yeah, I almost was like, for breakfast this morning, they had eggs and bacon. Dig deep, dig deep.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Can I just say right here, it's kind of crazy. We have 3 branches of the military in our little foursome circle here. I mean, Navy, Marine, and Army.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because that's what you said. I don't know. Okay,
that's really cool.
Welcome to the Yes, welcome to the show, ladies. Why don't we dig into it? What we love to do before we start is we like to take our really cheesy coffee cup selfie. So a cup, your water, your whatever, just raise it up. We do a 1, 2, 3. Okay, right. Mine is okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There you go.
So I have to tell you, today I am the world's okayest mom because my 8-year-old, I'm the meanest mom in the world today. I caught my 8-year-old doing his homeschool maths work with a calculator. I am like, that's what, dude, that doesn't work. Tears galore.
Can we be real though? Like, do you guys not do math with your calculator?
I was actually just about to say that. I mean, y'all, I was really good at math for a long time. The second I started using a calculator is when it all went downhill.
Right?
So
I think
with you.
Right. Yeah, I think he has to at least learn the basics before I start letting him use the calculator, right?
Okay, can you use fingers? I mean, these obviously are the indicators.
Yes, you will always have the fingers, so that's okay.
Okay.
I mean, I guess not always. That is not a guarantee in life.
No, it's not.
Accidents.
Yeah, Anna, you should be more worried if your kid starts asking Alexa to help you with math. You know what I mean?
No,
that's when you know you've hit the big time.
We do that as well, but I can hear that, right? Because I can hear the answer. But today it was, kind of hidden in the back part of the couch, snuck away with his calculator down below his book. I'm like, what are you doing?
Nothing.
And you know that face, right? That face of, I've been caught.
Okay, wait. This totally is not even okay. We are legit. We do scripts, but this is not in our script. But Leslie, like you, when you were an educator, like I mean, even preschoolers can cheat. Like, did you ever catch a preschooler cheating in play, or is that even a thing? Like, I mean,
when they learn to write and whatnot, that could be it. Because I mean, copying is good to an extent until they need to do it on their own, and then they're copying. Which, on the other hand, I also am like, you used resources that you had. So
right.
They're like, well, there's an A over there. I'm just going to line. There it is. Then it's fine. I mean, you can't get resourceful, right? Yeah. So it's really more of like copying than cheating. Cheating in games and whatnot is a real thing. Like that's
right.
We're not doing that. And they're try to skip turns and stuff.
Yeah.
Count too many because they're with the kid that doesn't quite know how to count. So try to pull one over.
I love it.
And then you're envisioning them as the wolf on Wall Street years later.
Exactly. You're gonna take advantage of everyone in your life.
Right. Right. It started then.
Yeah. It started.
That's why Leslie said it's important.
Show, you're at 3, they were exhibiting signs.
Right. Red flag. Red flags.
Okay, so our first guest that we had on, ladies, was she was actually my cousin, but she is a marriage family I don't know all the acronyms, and we loved it so much. And we were talking about just mental health and just kind of in business, what we do, how important it is. I love every time you guys are I'm doing a podcast in a closet, or I'm, yes for sound, but I'll also just get away from her kids, or, you know what I mean? Every reason. Anyway, we worked with Lauren, and so she provides us a question that we love to start the show out with now. It's kind of she's our mental health barista. Yeah. So I am going to pop on her question for you ladies. I'm going to actually move you guys to the top.
Ooh,
and,
hey, Britni.
Yeah, and then we'll just, hi.
Other side.
I'm just gonna get blocked. I'm gonna pretend I'm Lauren today.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's take that banner out, Anna, and then I will start with.
That's not it. Hold on.
You got it. Yeah. Okay, Britni, let's start with you. What was the last thing you learned about yourself, and how did it impact your work, professional career, business? That's awful.
Yeah, so I got really comfortable and I learned that I can do it, that I can get out of my comfort zone and I can do all those things that I kept trying to climb up the mountain and being I can't do it, or the little engine that could, and then I can do it. And that goes back to the manifestation episode that we talked about and kind of leads into. So when I started telling myself that I could do it and started writing out everything that I wanted to achieve, I could do it. It just was a mental thing for me. And so that led to a brand new job. And I'm almost 2 months into my brand new job and I love it so far. So
that's awesome. Congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
And that's a huge impact. Seriously, to learn, okay, I can do this. And then boom, now you're doing a job that you love.
And it was just that simple switch of because I had gotten comfortable for so long, and making that one change, being like, I got to get out of my comfort zone. I gotta do something a little scary. And so once I did that, a whole new world opened up for me. And so it's scary though, dipping your toe in the other pool is really scary. And so now I'm like jumping in. I'm like, all right, bring it all. I'm ready to change. So
she's like, I'm going in without even my bikini on. I'm just going to go all in.
You're dipping now.
Yes.
I love it.
Gosh, I love that. All right, Leslie.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Ooh, all right. So I could kind of piggyback off that for a little bit. As far as being comfortable, I was very comfortable for a very long time. And because of that, I never grew. I mean, I stayed in the same place. And I mean, comfort is a killer of dreams. It's a killer of marriages. It's a killer of a lot of things.
Oh my God.
And I just finally was like, wow, I have been in the same place for a long time and I got to get out of there. So to do that, you have to kind of take a really hard look at yourself. I mean, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what have I done? What have I not done? And I wasn't doing a lot of things, and completely reevaluated how I was operating as an entrepreneur. Really any aspect of my life, but entrepreneur specifically, because I was doing a lot of things that were comfortable, but they weren't getting me anywhere,
Oh my gosh.
A lot of activities that were just kind of stagnating me and keeping me in the same place. So I had to, just like Britni, jump out of the comfort zone and do the things that I kind of knew, I did know deep in my soul somewhere that I should have been doing, but I didn't, because it was more comfortable to not.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's like a constant, that's a constant thing. Like you have to do it all the time. It's not like you get to do it once in your life and then boom, you're good. It's one of those things where, that's kind of what New Year's resolutions are all supposed to be all about, right? Like that reevaluating, and then how many of us actually do that or keep them for that matter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But we can't just do it on the first of the year. And like you said, to constantly reevaluate.
Yeah.
I get so sad about the people though that don't get to where we get to, to make that decision to jump in. And for you two, do you feel you both kind of do you play a part in each other's kind of what you do outside of your Milspouse Coffeehouse?
Yes.
How do we telepathically? Yeah, we do.
Really strange, but yeah, we do.
I'll be actually the other day because I'm kind of looking for a new venture, a new job somewhere. And Britni was like, hey, here's this position. And I'm like, hey, I'm literally fixing my resume for that position right now.
Right.
Yeah. I love it all the time.
And I don't think we hadn't, it had been like a couple of days before, because we usually correspond, I guess, at least 2 or 3 times a week in general, even when we're not recording. And so, we hadn't even connected for 3 days, and I'm like, here, this job listing, you need to apply for this. And she's like, oh my God. Yeah. So it's meant to be, maybe.
That's exactly what I was looking for type of thing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're really good at being each other's cheerleaders or sounding boards, and just kind of helping each other out. Should I do this? Should I not do this? So it's very helpful. Yeah.
Good question. Good. I mean, good answers to a question that I think a lot of people need to remember to do is take a hard look at yourself, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying. Yeah. And then don't be scared. Just jump in.
Yeah,
Stick your toe in at first, and then blah blah blah. I'm not the psychologist person, the therapist person, but I
have to throw this in there because that's right there. He's watching the show. His comfort is a killer, and so I'm really glad you said that, because that means he's going to work extra hard today.
Great, do it.
Anna's husband, we're going to hold it to him. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's move in. So every show, we always bring up a toolkit. Everybody in business or life has some kind of toolkit that they use, right? And I think this one we all use. And so I'm going to just bring this up. Our toolkit, our favorite tool, is Anchor. So, we talked about it in the topics today, right, Anna? What Anchor is.
So here's the deal. So when we started our podcast, this is how it went. hey, Anna, I just downloaded all of our stuff onto Anchor, and now we're going to have a podcast. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how we started.
Yeah.
So
I started somewhere.
I am the one who says things like, do we have to add that new app to our phone again? I don't understand it. Selena, it won't work for me. And then she's like, just relax. Install it. I'll help you through it. So I get super frustrated, like when it doesn't work immediately and I don't understand it immediately. So anyway, Anchor was one of those things where she's like, guess what? We now have podcasts on Anchor. Can you go and record these things? And it was so easy. I was like, what the heck? This is the easiest program I've ever used. I thought a podcast was extremely daunting and difficult. And I have to be honest, Anchor made it really, really easy for me. So that was kind of my experience with it.
Yeah, no, you know what? And then I want to ask you two, like, you use Anchor now, and I think you said you had used another platform. Like, what was it like moving or shifting from one to another? Like, what was that like for you two?
Oh, it was easy. It was a seamless process. I mean, Anchor is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
In general, it's just really clean, and it does everything for you. On the other platform, because we record our audio and video and release the audio separately. Well, on Anchor, it just splits it up for you altogether. So it's also really clean looking, which to me is very nice looking when you go in and very easy.
Yeah.
So I don't remember it really being hard at all. Leslie, do you remember it?
No.
I think it was pretty simple.
I mean, you did it. I mean, it's
Well, that's true.
I did. I mean, I could sit here. Yeah, it was really. You know what? It was no, it was seamless, yes.
Yeah.
And I love Anchor because you can get recordings from your audience. That is my favorite part, because then they can ask questions. You can put them on there. It's great.
That's not something you've tried yet.
It sealed the deal for us.
Oh, that's very cool. We haven't tried that part of it yet.
Right. We need somebody to do it. That's all.
Right.
That's all
I mean,
do.
Yeah. That's it. All right. Well, I'll get on yours on mine.
I would say that we're Selena and I are still relatively new in the podcast world, and when as far as like technology goes in the technology world, we're like still in day one of it. But I would say for anyone that's looking at even like testing out what a podcast might be like, Anchor is a great place to start, and it's free. It's free, people. I mean, really, there's zero reasons to not at least try it out. And like they said, it's the clean format. It's easy to find what you need. You just literally hit the little record button and talk, and then stop button. And then it all of a sudden can be a podcast.
Yeah, so, I feel like Anna and Leslie are the same, where it's like, how much do I have to do, Britni and Selena? Like, how much do I really have to do? And I don't know about you guys, but I know me, you know how you kind of get some sponsorships, and like, Anchor is kind of like the first one or whatever. Me and Anna are like, yes, we got 3 cents today for people listening to our podcast.
Yes. I actually got an email just today that was like, you made this much on 4 months. I was like, oh my God. I haven't shared it with you yet. So right.
I did. Yeah. I'm like, when we make the first $10, we're totally going to get a coffee.
Right.
Maybe in 2 years, but we're gonna do it. We want to get up to your level, But
it is really exciting. I mean, even if it's just 5 cents or $10 or whatever, it's like, wow, it's possible, and it's like one of those things that kind of keeps your motivation when you're like, oh my God, you spent 2 hours trying to edit, and then you hit go, and you get like two listens, and then
it was like your mom and your grandma.
Right, exactly. You didn't even really listen to it. It just didn't play on accident. Couldn't turn out.
Oh my gosh. I can't even, you want to know, I sent my mom the podcast, and she didn't realize that we also did a podcast from this Facebook Live. So she stops listening. She goes, I don't know where the video is, but I hit play on that link you sent me, and all I hear is your voices. And I was like, Mom, it's a podcast. She's like, what is a podcast?
I have to explain it like a radio show.
Yeah, that's the best way, I guess, to explain it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay,
oh my gosh.
All right, so moving from our toolkit into some questions for you guys. I want to know, how did you two start working together? Like, tell us the story that started the Milspouse Coffeehouse Podcast. Like, the backstory.
Right.
Leslie, you
Well,
want to go for it?
We met on LinkedIn.
We did.
What? It works? LinkedIn works?
Listen, I'm still not, Britni all the time lectures me about using LinkedIn, and I am still hesitant, even though here we are like almost 5 years later.
Yeah.
You have to use LinkedIn. I'm just saying that. LinkedIn is a great tool, but that's how we met. We were both working on projects that were very similar, and I was researching other products or other services to partner with and help grow our networks. And so I saw Leslie and I reached out to her on LinkedIn and said, hey, we have similar ideas. Let's just have a chat. And so we started talking, and those didn't work out what we were originally connected for, about. But we ended up really having really good conversations.
In my coffee shop, actually.
And
I did have a physical brick and mortar coffee shop. And one day we were talking and I had forgot my headset. So my business partner at the time was in the shop as well and was overhearing our conversation. And she was like, you guys sound really great together. Like, maybe you should start a podcast. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we did. So we did.
That's what happened?
That's how that happened. Here we are.
Yeah. And then we met in person for the first time. I think it was 8 or 9 months after we had already started the podcast. Then we met in person. And we've only still met in person one time. So
was that weird? Like when you met, like even though you've been close, what were you like? Oh, it's like a first date. You know what I mean?
It was kind of like a first date, but it was
shared a hotel room together. I mean, we're like, all right,
it was almost like a deployment reunited because I had like my phone. I'm like, this is the first time I've ever met Britni. I'm like walking to the airport to pick her up. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta know, so then you're like, all right, so then we started a podcast. Like, how did you come up with the name Milspouse Coffeehouse? How did you decide the topics that you were going to discuss? Like, what was it that drew you to podcast instead of something like this, like a Facebook Live or a live stream on some platform or other?
Well, we have to do our makeup to be on camera.
And we weren't really doing that a lot. So, yeah. I think, podcasting is a good way to kind of dip your toe into the media, if you're a little nervous about it because you're behind a microphone. And I think that first season we only released the audio, didn't we? Or did we release the video too?
No, that was definitely just audio.
Yeah.
And not great audio.
Yeah. So we learned a lot. Yeah, we learned a lot that first year and the more comfortable that we got behind the microphone. We were recording on Zoom anyway, and so we got to kind of practice seeing ourselves on camera and, oh my God, don't make that face that looks really strange or scary or silly or whatever. And then we thought, people are really liking video too. So we started releasing the video as well and started to get more comfortable in front of the camera. And now it's just kind of like second nature, but it was scary. It was really scary at first.
Yeah. So did you use the podcast originally just as like a general chat, or were you trying to build a business when you first started?
I think we wanted to check that box that we had a podcast and just we're chatting. We honestly didn't think it was going to go anywhere because we needed something to do. My husband was deployed at the time. I was stuck with a 2.5-year-old in a small place and didn't have a whole lot of social life or anything. So this was my outlet.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's sort of like how ours evolved, right, Anna? I was like,
yeah. Hey, guess what? We're having a podcast now.
Yeah.
It really was. Even the live stream, it started out with, hey, Anna, it's on my social media calendar. I have to do a live stream. Will you be my guest? And then now we're weekly.
Yeah.
See, it's so awesome.
Yeah. No. Okay, I'm gonna bring up because I want this question before Britni may have to jump off. But I'm going to bring it. No, not at all. Okay, this is the episode that kind of launched this whole manifestation of the invite. I was listening to this episode. You need to go to Milspouse Coffeehouse, just listen to it. But I believe it's Britni talking about manifestation, and I was like, Anna, like, let's do an invite and let's tell Leslie and Britni, like, we want them to be on our show. We're manifesting it out.
They basically cornered us.
Yeah, basically, right?
There was no way they could say no.
Right.
I wanted to, we talked about manifestation, and just like, I think that was such a great episode, because it just kind of like, I'm telling you, and this is like where podcasts and just the influence of what you do and say when it's out there in the universe, you never know who it touches, right? And I think I loved this episode so much, because I was like, oh, manifestation, you need to do this in your business. Like, I don't know, Britni, Leslie, talk about it. Like,
yeah. We randomly decided that we were both doing it separately in our lives, which that was the cool part.
Right. Again, we had it was in a break between season 3 and season 4.
Somewhere.
We were like, we just individually started meditating, and then like really focusing on the manifestation situation. And then we just started talking one day about it, and I'm like, oh wow, I've been working on this for a few weeks here. And Britni's like, wow, me too. So again, like, kind of going back to what we said earlier, we almost always like know what's happening without saying anything.
And really, honestly, it started out with me just writing down intentions, like gratitude. At the end of the day, I'm grateful for a day that I actually got everything done on my to-do list, or my daughter didn't have any tantrums today. Those kinds of things. So you list out the things that you're grateful for, and then you list out a couple of things that you're manifesting, like I got the job, but you write it in the present tense. I got the job. I don't know. I can't. My mind is going completely blank right now. But whatever manifestation that you want to happen, you talk about it like it's alrety happened.
I love
that it's like mindset. Then you speak it into reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And a podcast is a great way to out that as an entrepreneur, like taking this back to business for a minute. There's people say all the time, like, write down your goals, make sure that they're visible, put them on your, your inspiration board or whatever it is, whatever version of that you have on your calendar, whatever. But I think that sometimes like taking that the next level to something like a podcast or a live stream and saying it out loud, there's some accountability that then comes with that process. And it's one of the things we loved about that program. Selena sends it to me because anyway, we'll get into me not listening to podcasts later, but she sent it to me and says, listen to this one. And then I listened to that one. And I was like, this is really great, because really what you guys were saying was put it out there and just see what happens. Like, see if it comes to fruition. And when you do that, it's almost like commits you to working towards it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
no,
it absolutely does.
Yeah. So, okay. Last question. I have 2 minutes before Britni gets off.
I know.
And no, I like this. It's almost like speed live stream. Like,
exciting.
Okay. Okay. And I know it's your question, but okay. Britni and Leslie, do you actually listen to podcasts?
Yes.
Okay. No.
But there are a lot of podcasters that do not.
Yeah. I don't. No. Wait, where is she?
You gotta go that one.
Yeah. Yes. So, and I like to listen to them to find out, to basically improve my craft. I mean, how I speak, what I say, because I know Britni and I tend to ramble a lot, which we think is entertaining. But when I listen to other people's podcasts and there's like rambling that gets to the point where it's like, okay, come back, it has helped me know when to bring it back.
Right.
You just maybe gave me the best reason for me to start listening to podcasts that anyone. Yes. So I struggle with podcasts as a format for myself. Like, it's not a good learning tool for me in terms of like being able to listen, because my mind wanders or I get distracted and then I realize I missed half the show.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's video, I'm committed to watching, right? But I love that. Like, in terms of like perfecting a craft or a skill, and this being a relatively new thing for Selena and I, that's super smart.
That's the educator in you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I do. That's either it's children or it's entrepreneurs. That's what I do.
Tell us what your favorite podcast to listen to is, other than your own, of course.
Yeah.
And do you listen to your own? Part 2, the question.
Wow, I don't really listen to
I
ours.
don't listen to our. Well, I do when I edit or like when I put it on.
I mean, and I have to, or like if I know that there's something that like I just have to force myself to listen to that.
Hey, Britni, it's
I
12:30.
gotta go, guys.
Okay,
But we're
guys,
still talking to Leslie.
Thank you.
Bye.
We got your girl.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Leslie, you're on the spot now. It's just all you. You're talking for 2.
So Britni and I very rarely listen to our own. However, like the public speaker in me also knows that I need to review what I said to, again, improve for next time. But it's really hard. Oh my gosh. It's hard to listen to yourself talk. But I do, but not that often. I'd rather listen to other people and take notes.
Right. So there's never like a time. I just got to ask this because Selena's hysterical. She'll be like, so I was listening to our podcast the other day. And I'm like, seriously? You don't ever just like stop and say, gosh, we are so dang funny. Or man, that was hysterical. I just want to hear it one more time.
Oh no, we do that a lot, especially when Britni is editing, because she is our main editor. Like I'll do it every now and then, but she does it most of the time, and she'll be like, this clip is hilarious. And I'm like, who can we send this to?
Oh my gosh. I feel like, so it's Britni is my spirit animal and you are Anna's, apparently. But no, you know what's funny is I listen to it because I think, when you do a show like this and you're busy like reading off a script, putting a banner in, putting a graphic in, you don't fully get to immerse yourself into what our guest is saying. And so when I do listen to it, I really fully can listen to it. I think it's hysterical also just to be like, you're driving your car and you see your podcast art cover like on your
exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's basically like you're famous.
Yeah. Like if people
like every
only
time
knew.
we release, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Like iTunes, look at that.
So tell me, okay, so what is your favorite podcast to listen to? What kind of podcasts do you like, Leslie?
I like kick in the butt podcasts.
Okay.
Self, kind of motivational. My favorite is probably the MFCEO project, which now the host Andy Frisella that's very entrepreneurship driven. He's kind of gone to more like self as a personal self situation, and it's called Real AF.
I love that.
And they kind of also have like some current events in their stuff, so it's more like life. But I think the MFCEO project for anybody who is starting out, kind of like I said earlier, kind of kick in the butt, get out of your comfort zone. It's a really, really good one. And it is not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's in the background.
Real life, right? Real life.
But yeah, and it honestly, that podcast is probably this I can say it was the start of the kick in the butt to kind of get things moving again for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But it does have a lot of bad words. So heads up, it's got a lot of bad words. Friendly, but it is really, really awesome. And there's a lot of tools you can take from it too. It's not just like a kick in the butt all the time. It's like, hey, here's how you can, make this happen.
Yeah.
Oh no, I love it. I'm gonna just pop up because I'm extra. This is kind of some that I listen to other than yours, but it's Brene Brown. Mm-hmm. I just like her, like you said. And then I love Lady Gang for just the fun, I don't know, just they have such random guests, and just I think it's the friendship that I love listening to between the 3 girls. That's just kind of what I like. And then this Front Row podcast, she's just an entrepreneur and she just drops down all the entrepreneur juice. She used to do like a 1-minute bite one, and it would just be like, this is in the news today, blah, blah, blah. But when the COVID hit, I don't see that one. But I don't know. These are some that I do like. That's in kind of my cycle of stuff.
I've never heard of the Front Row podcast. I should.
Yeah, it's interesting. She's again, it's all for entrepreneurs. It's very and she's got a whole website hey, join my thing. But I just like listening to some of the stuff she has, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that Twitter was doing this. Oh, I didn't know that this was this. Oh, all the things. So
yeah, I like to learn things, but then I get a little overwhelmed by all the things.
No, but that's me. I'll be like podcast, and then I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go back in when I can, like you just said, process in. I mean, I
think it's hard because there's so many options. That's one of the places I get lost, right? So I'm like, I don't know who's good and who's not good. So it's nice to have some recommendations from people that actually listen to podcasts, whose recommendation I trust, right?
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're thinking, I should start listening to podcasts, like turn to a trusted friend, ask them if they listen to them, find out what their playlist is, and start there.
Yeah,
absolutely. The list we just threw up there.
There's a lot of not great podcasts out there too. So
there is. Sure. You want to know what's funny? So I was listening to a podcast at during one of my dental appointments, and my hottie dentist, who is way younger than me, right? He's like, "Oh, I love podcasts." Right. I know. I get excited to go to the dentist's office. However, he was like, "Oh, are you listening to podcasts?" I'm like, "I am." And it was like they have true crime podcasts that are pretty awesome. And so I was like, "Oh, I love true crime." He goes, "Oh, my mom loves true crime podcasts."
Oh no.
I was like, "Ew." Dr. Hottie McHottie? No, I'm not. Am I like, he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." And he laughed as he's in my mouth, but I'm trying to talk to him through dentist mouth talk, which only he understands,
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I don't know. Apparently true crime ages you, so don't say it out loud.
Right. No kidding. Wow. I'm so sorry that happened. That's really good.
No, yeah. No, I mean, if when your mouth is I don't know how they understand you, but when I said that and then he says it back, my mouth did this thing, as it's wide open.
Oh God.
I'm like, anyway.
You immediately knew I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Right. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? That is literally the fastest. We're already into the where can we find you wonderful.
I know, but wait, I want to ask you just one more question. So I want to know, Leslie, if you were an entrepreneur, well, you are an entrepreneur. So let's pretend you're now an entrepreneur.
All right.
And you're thinking about starting a podcast. What would you say would be some of the benefits for a business owner to start a podcast? When would you say go for it, and when would you say maybe not the best plan? Because there's a lot of people that are out there thinking, well, I don't know if I really have something to say or not.
Okay, so when you're just starting out, you do need to pick one or two platforms. So if you're really good at Facebook or Instagram, I would say stick with that for a while, because podcasting, like we kind of said earlier, will just add another thing on your plate.
Yeah.
However, having said that, you can repurpose content from a podcast to almost anything else. Actually, my number one is, if you're going to go YouTube and video, design everything for YouTube, and you can pull it all apart for everything else. Because smart. YouTube, that algorithm really likes you to say, "Hey, YouTube, what's up? Welcome to my channel." And you can just pull that out of your podcast and say hi and put your intro in.
And then good tip.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously.
So if you want to be on multiple platforms, start, just assume that you're always going to be on YouTube, and then take your video pieces everywhere else. Podcasting, it depends on your target market as well. So people who listen to podcasts want to learn things, unless you're the dentist's mom listening to true crime, and then, maybe not. But sorry, I had to do it.
I know. That will haunt me forever.
But like I said, true crime, that's more entertaining. But if you're on a business perspective, you're going to learn something. So if you can provide value and how-tos, or even stories on hey, I did this and it is freaking possible for you to do it, because people really need that too, especially in this world where we're overwhelmed and slammed by maybe not real things on Instagram, all the success that may or may not be real. It's really, overwhelming. So if you can tell a real story on how you did it, it gives people hope. That's why I'm around. So podcasting is great, as long as it's not just another thing to do. Because if it becomes daunting for you, you're going to hear it in your voice, your audience is going to hear it, and they're going to tune out, and you're wasting your time.
Yeah. That is such good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the YouTube tip, like Celine said. Oh, good tip. That is a really great tip, because really one of the points of doing social media is to be able to repurpose and reuse content. So you're not literally have to reinvent the wheel for 17 different platforms, which is kind of where we're at this point, between TikTok and Reels and
TikTok
and Snapchat and
Oh, we're not on all of those. Are you crazy?
No, but yes, exactly. So but yeah, if you plan on doing video, especially if you are, again, how-toing things, YouTube is the place to be. Everybody gets on YouTube to literally how-to whatever. And so if you're on an educational side of the business, then that's a great place to be. And then podcasting, I would second to YouTube.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. If you're learning how to, I'm not necessarily going to go on Facebook and type in how to do that. Or even Instagram. I'm going to go YouTube. And actually right now, TikTok, if anybody is interested, is getting pretty big on the educational platform. They're really short clips, but you can redirect them.
They're very digestible, right? Like I've learned how to make a couple crock-pot dishes. I've learned how to do something on Instagram that I did not know you could do. I mean, like you said, it has a big, but it's bite size. Like I only have a minute. Right. Like, you know, so
anyway. And TikTok will suck you in. Beware.
I just learned how to search on TikTok. I really am behind in the TikTok scene. That's another one of those where Selena sends them, says, just watch this, learn something today. But I love it because you can take even sound bites from your podcast and put them on TikTok.
Right. And honestly, all you have to do is like stand there, or like even take your phone and just stand there and like do a little dance.
This can't dance. Like it would go viral for the wrong reason. Like everybody would do it with the big laugh.
Selena, viral is viral. Okay.
That's right. There is no bad publicity, Selena.
Oh my God.
You know, just work that out for us. I would be forever grateful.
I would be with my grandmother in Hawaii and somebody would like, oh, it's that girl. And then they would do a horrible dance and my grandma would be mortified. Like, what is happening? Why are so many people doing an awful dance in front of you? And I'll be like, Grandma, I went viral. And she'll say, what does that mean? And then we'll get into this long thing.
Yeah.
I can see it now. Okay. So that was really my question. Like just pulling it back for what the people who watch our show, you know, are a lot of them are small business owners or entrepreneurs. And again, it's one of those things where podcast it's a little bit daunting when you think about it, but I'm just gonna recap really quick. So
that was a really long answer. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It's perfect. But Anchor is the perfect platform to start on. First of all, try it out. You don't have to actually publish anything. You can actually hear yourself and listen to yourself without publishing to decide if it's worth your time and energy and effort. Also, to check your microphone quality, which is a really big thing. Make sure you do that. But then also figuring out a marketing strategy for using that podcast across your social media efforts, because you don't want it to be another checkbox. You don't want it to become, oh my gosh, I forgot to do the podcast. I got to get on there and do it really fast today and get it up by tomorrow. You know, you don't want it to be like that. So anyway, okay. So Britni, or no, Leslie, sorry, Britni's gone. So Leslie, now we're at the point where you get to tell us where we get to find you and Britni.
So Facebook, Milspouse Coffeehouse Podcast, and we also have a resource page, which is where we started putting all of our how-to videos from YouTube up. So the Milspouse Coffeehouse resource, and then all of your favorite podcasting platforms, whatever you use, we're there, and then YouTube at Milspouse Coffeehouse.
Oh, I should have put that on. Yeah, no, you know, can I just say this? And I mean, Leslie and I like got to meet like a couple months ago, and I geeked out. I felt like a little fangirl. I know we say this often, and I feel so lucky that we get to have you guys on the show. But when I first met you, it was in I didn't meet you, but I learned of you and Britni in like a military spouse group, and I was like, I want to be like them. They're so freaking cool. And then I was just like, and then I kept seeing you guys everywhere, and I was like, we could do this, right? In my head, and I'm like, Anna won't do it. Maybe she will. I want us to be like Leslie and Britni, like the older version of them. Like this is where They'll be. And I was like, don't you say it. Don't say I won't say it. Anyway, I'm grateful that you guys are on, that I got to we get to talk to you in real time where you answer back. You know what I mean?
I mean, I am incredibly grateful for being on here, and I know Britni is too. I love doing this kind of stuff. We don't get to go on other people's stuff very often.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. So I'm just going to say this out loud, but this is one of those things where what you guys are doing, whether you meant to do it or not, is a pathway of inspiration for so many people. I'm going to say Milspouses in particular, right? I mean, our life is unique in certain areas. And so any place you can go where you find people that make fun of it, laugh about it, but also talk real talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I can say something to people that are not military and they don't fully understand what I'm talking about. And so then you feel like you have to explain it. You know, it's like this big, long process where I could just say something about my PCS to you and you'd be like, been there, know that, done that. Yep, get it. So I love what you guys have done. And I love that it started accidentally, where it was like just a random comment from your business partner at the time that turned into something that really is a inspiration for so many people.
Thank you so much. And I hope that that's an example for everybody else, is just go with it. Follow your hunches, go with the idea, even if you're questioning it, because honestly, I'm like, when you say it in those words, like, oh, your business partner just said that you guys sounded great. And then if I could have ignored that all day, that would have been an easy thing to be like, that was a really stupid idea. No.
Yeah.
And I think we tend to do that a lot to ourselves. And especially with any feedback around us, a lot of, especially entrepreneurs, because we have big ideas and we want to go big or go home for everything. And it makes a lot of people around us uncomfortable too.
Yes.
And there's a lot of, if it doesn't fit in the box, a lot of people around you will tell you, that's not a good idea. Why would you do that? Keep your job, because this is really stupid and risky.
Yeah.
And so just go for it.
Well, and it's also because we have limited amounts of time, right, to spend on our entrepreneurial dreams. So you really have to come down to, all right, which one is going to best serve what I want my final outcome to be?
Wow, that is a whole nother episode we could do.
Right? Yes.
I am a good idea fairy. Recovering from shiny object syndrome.
Yeah. Yes, you know what? I mean, I'm going to just, I was telling Leslie earlier and Britni, I've been just binging on their show today. And they had some great episodes. You guys, being a unicorn, and yes, it was. And then, I mean, they have the best. I don't know what this mystery guest thing is about, but you guys are fantastic that you do it. Yes. But one surprises the other who the guest is, and I think kind of my favorite one was they're all good, but was the paranormal investigator,
paranormal housewife. She's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what I need, but I want a tarot reading or something. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she does Tarot Tuesdays, which would be tomorrow. And
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Hit her up on Instagram.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing. You don't have to be a military spouse to listen to Leslie and Britni. Seriously, they have good stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a bonus if you're a military spouse.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to throw that out there. I mean, some really because you said the shiny object, shiny. I suffer from that. And I think that's why I have so many projects. Yes, oh my god, I love you.
It can spread you thin now, so beware. Yeah. That's kind of what, going back to your original question, should you start a podcast? It really depends on if you're already doing a bunch of other things. I would say no.
Yeah.
For now, until you can get help. And really, at the end of the day, editing is going to be your biggest time sucker. So it doesn't hurt to hire out for that.
Oh, another great tip. You can hire out for that. Keep in mind, yes. I mean, we had VAs on the show a couple of weeks, I guess a month ago, maybe. And I think one of the things people don't realize is, their hourly rates are super reasonable for the most part. And it just takes a couple hours, takes it off your plate, and they do a great job if you get a good one.
And if there's a learning curve to editing. And so if you are one of those people that is trying to do a lot of things, you have a job, but you're also trying to do your side hustle or whatever it is, it will take you a couple of hours, and we don't have that kind of time. So whereas a VA that might be, $25 an episode, $50 an episode can get it done. super
Yes.
fun. So,
seriously, so worth the money. I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
so worth it.
I'm in a virtual real fast before we like wrap this up. I'm in a virtual retreat right now that's going on. I don't know if any of you are in. It's Pillar, but one of the speakers they had was it's the power of no, and telling yourself that you don't have to say yes to everything. So just, you know what I mean? Like what that gives to you, if you can just say no, I'll allow somebody else or something to do it. And it was such a great session yesterday. And I was just like, I do, right. We have to. Good for you. Anyway, no. Yeah. Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes. So I totally agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. Because then it keeps you in your genius zone too. Because if you're focusing on little mundane things, then you're not really all in on what you are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. No. Oh gosh. So true. All right, Anna.
All right. So listen, anybody that's out there that's listening to this right now or watches the replay or catches it on YouTube or on a podcast platform of your choice, I want to know, do you currently have a podcast? If you do, send it to us so we know what it is, because we'd love to start to listen. And I promise I'm going to start listening to podcasts. I mean, seriously, Leslie convinced me today. It's super smart. Like, that was like one of those aha moments in my head that happened just
the minute Leslie said it. I saw Anna's eyes go like, oh my God, that's what I needed to do it.
Yeah, I can make excuses up for about 900 different ways for reasons why I shouldn't do something. But when I have one good one for why I should, then I can't ignore it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Time. And that was such a good one. So if you have a podcast, send us the podcast, drop it in the comments, put it on our Facebook page, send it in a private message. I mean, y'all know how to find Anna and Selena. And then next, we're really glad. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, your favorite podcast platform. We are not on IG yet.
So no, we're not doing it.
We're not doing it yet.
No. Listen to what Leslie says. Don't do it unless you have the bandwidth or the time.
That's right.
Or the money to hire somebody.
Or the money. Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Time or money.
Yeah. That's right.
One or the other.
And then for next week, I just want everybody who's listening right now. Next week, our guest is going to be Lisa McKee with Lisa's Creative Designs. She is our customer service, like the amazing customer service lady. Yeah. So we're going to talk. She's Hawaiian. So we're talking about service with aloha, which is how Selena termed it, which is really like the best service you can possibly ever provide anyone.
Yeah.
And just what that can do for your business and how that can increase your sales and how that's going to retain customers and all the things that have to do with that when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. It's going to be really fun. So join Lisa's in Hawaii. So it's our regular afternoon, 5 o'clock Central podcast time.
Whatever, something like that. The Google Calendar will tell me what time our session is at.
That's right.
Google Calendar is great.
All right. Google. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, again, Leslie, you are wonderful and amazing. And thank you so much again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before we go, can I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. For people who are listening, here's my business question. Do you have to have an audience to get started?
Ooh, so good.
Make money.
No.
You have to have an audience.
No.
The answer is no.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Because I know it freaks people out. Everybody's like, I don't have an audience. I don't have followers. If I do this and I put it out there, what's going to happen?
Yeah. No, you know what?
Searchability. It's SEO and searchability. And at some point, someone finds you and that's how it starts, right?
Yeah. I think, one of the entrepreneurs that I follow is Gary Vaynerchuk. I just love him. And one of the things he had said, like, before I'd even left and came to Texas, one of his things is like, just talk like you're talking to 1 million people, even if nobody is listening. He says, because at some point you will, and you always want to talk with authority. And you know what I mean? Don't talk like you're like, well, I know nobody's listening, but, and I'm like, okay, I'll talk like I'm up on a platform talking to millions of people. And so, don't let it just because it says 0 or 1.
Could you imagine the podcast is like, so I don't really have much to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
There are some of those. Beware.
I listen to
It's not going to be interesting.
podcasts.
I'm
my
really
life is
boring, but
Gosh.
I wanted to do this. I almost want to do like a spoof podcast. It'd be super funny, right?
It would be fun.
Can we? No, what? We'll just invite Leslie and Britni and be like, let's do a spoof. I don't even know what we're spoofing, but let's do a spoof podcast. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something.
Right.
Okay.
I
Oh,
like
good question. So, okay. Like Leslie said, you do not need an audience. You just go with it and do it.
Yeah.
And your audience will find you. Give them that opportunity to find you because they don't know that you're there yet.
That was great.
So.
And the opportunity.
Yes, totally. All right. Okay, guys, I'm kind of sad that this is over.
I know.
But, yeah,
thank you, Leslie, Britni,
Yes.
in the far off goneness.
Goodbye,
Thank you so much
Britni.
for being with us.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank y'all so much. I had a
Yes.
good time.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Bye.
See you on the next one. Bye.